is what FNCS is all about.
Everything. It's exactly what it's all about, Monster. Right here is the exact moment that so many players, even from the lower bracket, having to grind their way into the upper bracket now, looking for their final opportunity, at least as far as the upper bracket is concerned, to find themselves in that top 25.
Yeah, definitely. And this time we have, of course, Pars here that we're going to be looking at. And Baka, this is the team that was contested yesterday, all weekend long, actually, by Edgy. And things went back and forth for them, but seems like we're going to be okay for now. But jumping on over to Clix and Epic Whale, a team that is going to have it now. Another duo landing directly on top of the Lavish layer. This is news to them for sure. Yesterday they had a much easier day, all things considering, as there weren't any other duos directly looking to fight here. But I mean, with Chrisix and Dragon there, it's gonna be pretty tough.
Yeah, and you can see some of these off-spawn battles not necessarily going the way that Blake would have hoped. Puhzessed and Snacky actually gonna get credited now, looking to just take down a bot here at Snooty Steps. They want the Peter Griffin Mythic Hammer Pump, and for good reason. Society Medallion, also a really nice pickup, but beautiful snipe there coming out of Puhzessed. That's the kind of accuracy that you never want to experience from another player. Puhzessed, on the other hand, Snacky probably more than excited about the fact that his duo is hitting snipes like that this early on.
Great tags, great snipes. Definitely setting themselves up for success. For Baka, looks like they did have a team decide to W key on into their territory. We just tuned in with them. There wasn't a duo in sight, but all of a sudden now they have themselves a set of 2 eliminations. So this is perfect. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They're completely trying something new today, right? Like, this is not where they were landing before by any means.
They're still definitely hovering a little bit more towards that far west side of the map, though. Definitely still seeming to have intentions of going for the forecast tower that spawns on the hill east of the reclaimed villa. But Pars and Baka, they are conned by a couple of different teams. That's why we're seeing Mr. Millennium that you already pointed out there, MDF, but Vert, Yuumi, seeing if they can add another one to the count, and it's got to be Edgy taken down. Unfortunate stuff there for Edge as well. But Vert, Yuumi, definitely feeling pretty good about the fact that they were able to come out on top in the off-spawn.
Very nicely done. You can see the stats here. First from 25th. From today's lobby qualified to Grand Finals this week. That is what is on the line right now. Unlike all of Friday and Saturday's games, it's about consistency now as well. The better you place, the higher you place, the more consistent you can be here, the more likely you are to go straight to Grand Finals. And the catch is that it really only takes about 2.5 games or so, right? 2 games, 2 really good games, and you can punch yourself a qualification ticket to Grand Finals.
Yeah, and in some circumstances, even just finding a Victory Royale, even though it won't be the automatic guarantee for Grands like what we've been experiencing over past couple of sessions, but at the same time, you get 1 VR in a 3-game format, MDF. Even if you were able to add a handful of eliminations to that as well, those points bound to keep you in that top 25 threshold for the leaderboards. I'm certain that's something that all of these teams have in mind here as they continue trying to build up. Sus, a little bit of trouble here with Cam and Diminished. We'll look for a brief disengage, just try to create a little bit of separation. But Freeze and Script like this mentality to essentially reposition, looking to go towards the high ground here. Script just having a little bit too much damage from Diminished and Cam. And Cam and Diminished as well, gonna opt to just hang out on the train for the time being and rotate elsewhere.
Definitely one way to rotate for sure. Keeping a low profile. This is probably one of the, you know, those types of plays as well. No one really expects a team to be just riding the train, right? So all things considering,
too.
Yeah, I was gonna say all things that considering this should be a free pickup, free upgrades for them, as well as a ways to get across the map here and Take a look at this. There is an opponent just next door they're going to be sliding on by. It's Rokane there. Rokane takes a peek in. Okay, so he's actually wary of the train. You can see he doesn't quite trust it. So knowing a lot more than I do in this regard, I would have thought that, yeah, you know, you would have probably let your guard down and not really cared too much, but nope, these pros are not being careless at all.
Minish does pay a slight price there. Arcane and Revive's probably happy about the fact they're able to get some surge tag damage online this early so they can continue prioritizing their general loot pathing. Is now reviewing things over here at the Grand Glacier. It's Tavern and Edgy, and these guys have 100% done a swap. They've gone complete opposite of where we saw them yesterday. It was initially Edgy and Tavern that were actually contesting Pars and Baka. We kept watching that off spawn for what felt like 3 or 4 matches yesterday, and now deciding to take their chances over at the Grand Glacier. It's going to be Duke and Threats that they would have to keep an eye out for. At the same time, definitely enough space for both teams to collect what they need and then possibly look for an engagement later on.
So we jump down with TK and Bacon sitting on top of Acorn and Cold's base. Acorn and Cold are, again, one of those teams that we expect to perform up towards the upper top 25 today. It'd be a huge upset for them to do anything less. Bacon doesn't hit the snipe, but he wants to rotate out now, play for more prime positioning, and it does seem like the map revealing some important interest up above. They're going to be moving right on into there to go ahead and get some weapons upgraded.
And for Bacon and TK, a team that isn't contested initially at the Ruined Reels, they're going to have to make up that surge damage, finding those tags elsewhere, maybe looking for a little bit of elevation on some hills, see if they can possibly take some shots at the teams coming out of Reckless Railways, possibly. But they're not the only ones trying to figure out a surge strategy here. So we've got Scented and Tahi now inside of the Reckless Railways, but one shot will manage to connect there for Scented. Just a little bit of elevation, but knows that there's a player in the bush now. Sees another player trying to ramp up onto a hill. And again, this is just Scented, Tahi, making sure that they stay in control of their surge strategy.
Take a look at Kanata and Aegis right now. Opting to go with the med kits deep in the storm right now. No elimination, so they're not giving us any signs of wear and tear for a fight, but instead they're just hanging back, taking their time here. When it comes down to top 25, I can respect plays like this where, again, the strategies are going to be a lot different, right? Yesterday was all about, can we pick up a win? Can we win? Can we win? And if you couldn't, today is going to be the day where, can I just be consistent? Can I make end games, right? Do that a couple times and all of a sudden you are good. But it's about fatigue that can set in for our pros, right? Playing all weekend long. I mean, we're talking session in and session out just to make it this far into the stages. We'll see who's got the gas tank to continue on through to the finish line. Yamzo and Rise being a set of those duels as well. Plenty of highlights picked up throughout the course of Saturday and Friday. But here we are.
One thing Yamzo and Rise definitely struggle with, though, in yesterday's competition in the upper bracket was actually making sure they had enough surge. Seems like since they're uncontested at their drop and the fact that they're so central on the map, probably just having a handful of difficulties with actually encountering players, because these two more than definitely have the accuracy necessary. If they can find someone, they can certainly look to get some damage online. That's the case here with Rise. Now, trying to see if he can chase down Empen. Mason, nowhere to be seen just yet. Have to imagine that Empen strategy here for going for such a quick retreat. And, well, this is the reason why we're not seeing Mason nearby. Empen, actually a solo, looking to just hide out now behind this set of barrels here inside of fencing fields. And this is quite the predicament currently for Empen. Has to be quiet as a mouse there in that corner, but Rise Yamzo recognizing not really worth chasing out that solo. Much better to just prioritize positioning elsewhere, get a little bit of elevation going, and again, just trying to make sure they get those tags early on.
Listen, when in doubt, just rat it out. That's the NPen strat right now. He's trying to give a low profile, but Reed and Ritual on the hot press right now. They already have, seem to be a down player in front of them. It's a Minish, and they don't get the credit. Oh yeah, there it is. Ritual is the result of the knock there. He gets the credit as the other team start to shoot on in and put their opinions on the matter, but Cam could run. I don't think he's going to be able to hide for very much longer. There are not only other teams opting into this fight, but of course, Re and Ritual's pressure undoubtedly being felt right now. Just like that, they have full control of this, not only the cache, but the loot left behind. Cam's duo.
Even just putting Cam into that solo position's gonna have to be enough here for Re and Ritual. Ritual, nice quick scope as well onto a Minish. There's really nothing to be done.
Look at this, Reed was down when that all went and I exchanged right there. So it was actually a Minish who likely got the opener onto Reed and Ritual, and with the back against the wall, Reed and Ritual turned that around. So shout out to Ritual, man, hitting the most clutch snipe shot right there to keep their tournament run in the game, and gets the save at the same time, making it that much more impressive.
Always feels pretty bad, though, to be on the receiving end of those types of snipes, though. So on Minish, I do apologize sincerely, but Polarized, Death, here now inside of Fencing Fields. They've got Day on the run. Day down to just a sliver of HP now, trying to escape into a separate box, but it's just all too easy. Polarized collapse from the top. Death on the other side. There was really nothing else left to be done there for Day. Unfortunately, he's just gonna have to wait this one out for round number 2 to start here in the upper bracket. But Polarized, Death. You can see the zone pulling just slightly east of where they're currently situated. Crash pads, more than enough though to get them into the position that they'd like to be. Slight cut off there though from Polarized into the tree. A little unfortunate, but nothing that'll deter them for sure.
Still got a little ways to go as well, so after they met up, they will have to continue to rotate through that treacherous territory. Jumping on over for a quick update with Dukes and Threats here. Completely different story. Dead center on the map right now, but it does seem like they want to take a fight here. They single out Seek down low, but no, Duke couldn't make it through the window quite in time, and that's going to slow down their entire agenda there. And now he's getting pushed. Okay, so Dash is looking to get inside this box, and that was almost it for Duke there, but the wall just in time to block those incoming shots. No Threats in sight either. Threats was on a completely different fight there for a moment. And that's how quickly situations can change right there. What looked to be a very great singled out solo down low in Prodigy Seek here. All of a sudden, one small misplay and Dasharuni was on the heels of Dukes there.
Yeah, honestly, a great job by Dasharuni, but also some solid discipline there too. Recognize the fact that there's definitely some other teams hanging out here at Hazy Hillside and just didn't want to compromise himself. How many times have we seen a player get pushed because they got their shields cracked, and then next thing you know, you're the one that's actually being knocked in the process. Dasharuni just did not want to risk that situation any further. Got the damage that he needed in the first place. Is now Duke. Got some regen going. Shields back to full. Feeling comfortable again. Trying to get a little bit of height overview for where the rest of these players are lining up here in Hazy Hillside, but just not really being given the best opportunities to try and take some shots in return.
I was going to say they must have a medallion or something, because Threats was not looking to pop a big pot there. I think I did see his HP starting to tick up after a couple moments. Back on over to Clix and Epic Whale, continuing to play for the Rift Island. So this is a continued trend from this duo. They have shown that they're not strangers by any means coming up for this high ground position here.
I'm glad it's not just me, by the way. You can encounter those difficulties running through the window sometimes.
Oh, I mean, we've seen it. Even pros make mistakes or have tough times. Talking about a tough time for some pros. We have some down bodies in the storm here, just on the outer edge. Safety was so close yet so far, and now we have a team staring right on inside. It's actually Decay and company. Oh no, it's Decay who's just a solo. Okay, so Decay lost his teammate, and he's just waiting this one out. Little does this WTJ duo know that there's a team right up above, and there they are.
Almost a little surprised that the team that was initially boxed up on the hill actually opted to not be a little bit more aggressive with shooting into those builds that Raze, Higher, and Decay were posted up in initially, but Xavi and Neko actually just gonna opt to keep it moving, essentially. And just want to stay on a good pace, stay in a good line of sight along the edge of the zone, where they can potentially look to try and find some damage elsewhere. Cam, though, has managed to bring Aminish back into this match. Now looking to charge down Jojo Fishy, and will successfully find the elimination onto Beast and Jojo. So another duo taken out of the lobby. Nice plays, though, from Cam. The fact that he was able to find the reboot ban opportunity there onto Aminish is definitely nice to find that refresh along the way as well. But now, gotta be really careful with the way that they choose to re-enter the zone, because there are so many teams that have already gotten positional advantages from rotating earlier on.
It's crazy. Some of these late lower bracket teams finding their footing here today. Take a look at Kanata and Aegis right now. Don't want anything to do with the storm right now, but they are so far below the surge. This grapple blade's gonna get them into a position here shortly, but they will have to do the impossible, which is push a team, hopefully set up a big set of eliminations here. Aegis gets so punished for the W key here. We knew the decision was gonna be inevitable to have to push into, and there seems to be the knock and the likely finish that comes in now. Aegis being completely taken out. Kanata is going to get the follow-up in the exchange there, but the cost is great.
Wow, it's just Susscript and Freeze suppressing Kanata so heavily, just refusing to let him escape from these boxes. And that's exactly what you'd expect the team on height to do, and they just happen to have that positional advantage. Again, Cold, similar situation here to Kanata. Acorn knocked. And Cold can clutch this one up, though. Might be able to go for the revive. He's looking to see as if he can commit to this. It's really going to put the pressure onto the other duo to see if they want to actually challenge this box or not. But Polarized Death, not quick enough. Revive is good. Acorn able to make it up now. Cold as well with a shield potion, so some resources expended unwillingly, but at the same time, Cold, knowing that he has his duo back up and running, is more than a good enough trade-off right now.
Well, things are going to settle for a second here. So we now start looking on over to the other side. Scented by himself, finds the box is open, but no, couldn't get the tag that he needed to keep him alive in the game right now. Still looking, though. He's not going to get this one up yet. And I like that he's getting active before the zone actually closes. I mean, this is what a lot of players will fail to do in this type of situation. We've seen it consistently before, where it's just a little too late. You try to go in and make it a play for Surge here. But no, the shots come in. Moments are found, and it's not looking too good for Scented now.
No, just lost entirely. Too much shield. No heals either. And just continuing to eat random tags from every which direction, but just doing what he can to try and chop out a team in the layers above him. But it's just not going to be enough. Scented will meet the end of game number 1. Kanata still trying to keep this solo performance going, though. But looking substantially healthier in comparison to where we saw Scented at as far as the solo endeavor is concerned, at least with 2 medkits, the 6 small shield potions as well, and an ample amount of ammo. Can expect Kanata to just do his best to try and stay above that damage threshold. And then he can probably just look to hang a little bit more towards that backside of zone. Doesn't really want to draw too much attention. The moment you get lobby focus on, it almost feels impossible to escape.
Definitely a decision to be had here shortly. But he's going to go for the fight here. You got to respect the fact that he's still trying to maintain outputting damage all throughout the game, especially now as a solo. It's going to be more critical than ever. No shotgun in hand, though, so things are going to get very interesting as we start approaching the later stages of this tournament run right now. But this is just game number 1. Again, of 3 for this upper bracket here. Before we go review down what's going to happen down with the 3 games from the lower, but top 25 is what matters. So playing even out, even now as a solo, you really, really have to try to stretch it, go the distance.
And Baka and Pars, we know that they're one of our teams that loves going for the Forecast Tower whenever it spawns. But right now, Forecast last thing on their minds. Ritual, Reet, just trying to make it through. A couple of builds through these low ground layers, and Ritual, Reet, they can hear footsteps all around them. The question is, which direction do they actually want to try and tackle first? And with the zone pulling a little bit further east, might prompt them to just look for a slightly later rotation since they have good mobility. Yamzo and Rise, though, again, slight struggles here. Just barely underneath that damage threshold, but no one is giving many openings. So it's Yamzo trying to take matters into his own hands, looking to just destroy some of these brick walls that Higher and Raze keep throwing up, hoping that other players might look to also focus out those boxes, but Yamzo and Rise just barely managing to catch a break here. 29 above. Still nowhere near their comfort zone. Bound to keep trying to look for some type of play that they can commit to, a duo that they can actually challenge inside of these mid and low ground layers.
Yeah, what we're seeing already is definitely chaos unfolding here shortly. Yamzo, Rise, Acorn, Aegis, Kanata, all these big teams hurt, fragmented, and or already taken out. NA is all over the place right now. Some of your favorites setting themselves up to have an uphill battle as things continue. And even Yamzo, like we said in Rise here, very hurt on that rotate. Not a clean one by any means for Kanata. Take a look at this. Things are starting to catch up now, halfway through his material count. We already know the pressure we're starting to add on as far as the damage is concerned, and this is something he's been consistently conscious of as he's positioned himself up, and it just couldn't pull any further. Now, again, the grapple blades allow him to make this rotate likely easier than most, but still, the punishment that, you know, happens from point A to point B, the longer they continue to expose themselves is very, very clearly adds up. Players are just not letting their guards down at all.
Now you can see even a team like Pars and Baka, since they've got the grapple blades in tow as well, Pars still opening up their walls, trying to see if you can find additional tags instead. Because again, if you have a means of mobility like the grapple blade, you can certainly opt for a slightly later rotation, but you don't want to go too far behind the rest of the lobby. Clicks, having just lost Epic, knows that he's got a team trying to challenge him from the backside, but now it's going to be Clicks forced to commit towards the low ground, just trying to get a little bit of heals going as well. One shield potion already expended, a med kit soon to follow. It's going to be hard for Clicks to come up big here in this one, but he might just get it done. Similar fashion, Kanata still trying to deal with the likes of Crispin Noxy. A box directly next to his. Opts for some shots. One tag or two, but now it's Kanata. He's on the move. He recognizes he's got to stay moving with the rest of the lobby, but first what he needs to find is an elimination, a knock of some sort, damage, anything that'll get this damage threshold up above, but it's not going to come to him in time. Instead, it's going to be Vert with the elimination credit there onto Kanata, who's just trying to get that mech hit off. Unfortunate scenes here in NA, but Clicks, another one of our solos, still just trying to keep things rolling.
Yeah, and I respect what Clicks is doing right now. He is just working his way across the layers right now, truly trying to stay alive, and he's picking up placement points while he's at it. Now remember, he already used his medkit a lot earlier than he probably would have liked, but he did that for placement. Top 25, consistency matters, and look at this, the movement to slide him right into this little safety spot. It's gonna be so important, and it's gonna go the distance for him. just inching his way ever so closely now to top 10, 14th place. Player down below, player up above. Wood builds here. This is the perfect type of tarp to get through.
Oh my god, Snacky though on height. Pars looked for the overtake, not going to be able to find it. Instead, Snacky Puhzessed still looking to control the high ground. Depending on their ammo status, they might be able to just suppress the entirety of this lobby now. Down low, Ritual gonna opt, medkit coming out as well. Just again, looking for those additional placement points. Ritual now heading back towards the zone. Yuumi, Hound, so many players swarming underneath. Congestion just continuing to build in that low ground. You can even see all the medallions popping out. No one even able to claim some of the loot from these fallen players, as Chris will be another one added to the count. Ritual, what a mastermind of an edit.
Yeah, Ritual's just playing like exceptionally well right now. Not only from the clutch, but now all the way down to putting himself in this endgame situation and continuing to rack up placement points here. And not only that, eliminations as well. Can he get another one? Of course he can, but it's gonna come at the cost of hitting the shot first. He was so close yet so far, and there it is, the follow-up onto Acorn to just snatch top 3 away from him and picking him up to 5 eliminations. High ground though, Snacky, Puhzessed, looking to suffocate out the players down low. There's really no room to work with here. It's a 2v1, it should be all but over, but Snacky doesn't even want to take any risk here. He's gonna allow Puhzessed to sit back, hand back, and finish the deed. Close out on Ritual there with a huge pump shot.
Massive respect, though, to Ritual for keeping things going as long as he did. I mean, finding a second placement in our first game of the day, and yet on top of those 5 eliminations, I mean, 20 points off of elims alone? I think that that's some pretty fantastic stuff, but yeah, Puhzessed, Snacky, the moment that they shut down Pars, looking to challenge for the high ground, that was the moment, because there really wasn't anybody else left to try and deal with this high ground team. All these other teams just got stuck in those moving zones on the low ground.
Yeah, and you can see running it back right there, the big pump shot. Snacky, Puhzessed take that first game of 3 here for this bracket. Not bad, if I do say so myself. And not only that, a team that did it from key positioning, right? It's so much risk involved when you start to play for the high ground this early in a grapple blade meta, but they managed to make it work.
And again, big congrats to Puhzessed and Snacky, but this is only game 1 of 3 as far as the upper bracket is concerned. So, gonna get things back over to Zeke, Vivid, and Kelly and see what they have to say.